What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday, and this weekend is Halloween. I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are too. And I thought it would be perfect to do a nice little Happy Halloween card using masks, cropping masks. We're gonna work with masks for this one. If you can't tell by the way I say masks, and I do mean that as a double entendre because you will be using masks for Halloween this weekend, so it'd be perfect to use masks for Photoshop. Enough of my weird way of saying mask, I guess. Let's go ahead and get started. You are going to need two things before we get started here. Go ahead and go to Google. You're going to look up an image of a forest, one that's nice and filled with trees, just like this one. But if you want to use this commercially, I do suggest that you get one off a stock photo site, kind of like pond5.com. Look for a nice foresty image on there. It's probably like $5. If not, Google it is. Next thing you're gonna need is smoke PNG. You can barely see it here probably, but it is an image of smoke with a transparent background. There is nothing behind it, so it's just easy to layer on top. And then defont.com, I'm going to use a font that's called Launch Attack. It is 100% free. I've already checked in with the author, and he assured me that it is 100% commercial free, so feel free to download that and use it. Let's go ahead and get started. So create a new document, keep it on pixels, because I'm going to keep it for screen. I'm going to go 1920 wide by 1080 high. That is the standard resolution for most screens. Most TVs are that resolution. That is what you would consider HD. Keep it at 72 pixels. RGB color. Yes, yes. Click create. Nice. First thing you're going to do, take your forest image. Drag it in. Fill in the whole space. Boom. Click enter. Now I kind of want to alter the color a little bit, and so we're gonna go to filter, camera raw filter, or you could just do shift command A on your keyboard. Now this is basically Lightroom within Photoshop. This is what a lot of photographers use to edit their images, make them look nice and vibrant and crisp. They just use Lightroom, but this is basically the same thing within Photoshop. Obviously, Lightroom itself has more to it, but this is kind of like an easier way, so you don't have to go in between both Photoshop and Lightroom. So I do use this a lot. First thing we're going to do, temperature. We're going to bring it down just a smudge. Give it a little bit more of a spooky, colder feel. It is pretty cold where I'm at right now, but not nearly as cold as some of those snowy cities. Tint, bring it up a little bit. Exposure down just a tad. Contrast, bring it up. Highlights down just a little bit. Shadows, I'm going to go down. Whites, blacks, leave those. Clarity, I'm going to bring it up about 25. Dehaze, I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. Vibrance, let's see what it looks like. It's nice and vibrant. I like that. Go to the next one. Where you see this graph, we're going to do what's called an S-curve. This is what a lot of photographers use when they edit their photos. So about a quarter of the way up, we're going to bring the curve down just slightly, and then about 3/4 of the way up, do another point, bring the curve up. So it makes an S. Go back one step and bring exposure up just a tad right there. Go to the two triangles. This is detail. I'm going to bring luminance all the way up. See how I kind of give it a smooth feel? I don't know if you noticed that. Everything's nice and rough. If you bring luminance up, see how it kind of smoothens it out. This is what a lot of Photoshop composers use to create that cinematic feel, that really smooth texture. But they mess around with the luminance detail also. See how less detail, the smoother it is, the more detail, obviously the more detailed it is. So I'm going to go to about 85. Once you have that done, click OK. Boom. Once you have that done, type tool, click anywhere on the keyboard. Now, type in Happy Halloween, capital H's. Now I'm already on the font that I want to use, but if you are not, go ahead, go to your type tool, type in your font up here. Launch Attack is what I'm using. Once you have that in, Command T or Control T if you're on a PC. Anytime I say Command, that I usually mean Control for PCs. So Command T, click a corner and drag out. Hold down Shift while you do it, so it's nice and even the whole way. If you don't hold down Shift, it's going to be wonky. Try to fill up some of that space. Perfect. Oh, wait, go back to Command T. We're going to do Skew. I like a little bit more of an angle. Go back to Scale. I'm going to bring it up just a tad. Enter. Now, I want this centered on the artboard, but you see the align tools are not lit up. They're not highlighted. So you're like, how do I do that? Okay, so go to your layers panel. Make sure you're highlighted on your type layer. And then while holding down Command, click on background. See, now they're both highlighted. Now the align tools are lit up. Align center, align center. Perfect. So making sure you're back on the Halloween layer. No more background. We don't need that anymore. We're going to create a mask. So we're going to go down to the bottom of your layers panel. See how all these little buttons are? Go to the one that has a square with a black circle in the middle. See how it says add layer mask? Click on that. Boom. See how this little white square showed up? Perfect. We want to be there. Now make sure, see these 4 lines, these 4 corners? Make sure you're highlighted on the layer mask and not on the actual layer itself. All right? Because if you're on the layer itself, you're going to end up kind of just messing around with the layer, right? You don't want that. You want to be in the mask. All right. So once you're in the mask, right click, making sure you're on hard round. We're going to downsize the brush a little bit. To mess with the size, it's just the left and right brackets on your keyboard. Left bracket to go down, right bracket to go up. Super easy. Now, once you have the size you want, go over here, go to your colors panel, make sure it's black on the foreground and white, in the background. And I'll show you why later, or in a bit, not later. So, first thing, we're gonna hide this part of the H. Kind of want it to go behind the tree, right? So you see where the tree is, we kind of just want to fill that part, and you see how like that part of the L or the H disappears. It's exactly what we want. All right. So just kind of click and drag until you are satisfied. All right. Perfect. Now, instead of kind of clicking and dragging though, for this next one, you can click slightly inside of the edge of the tree. Just do one click. Flat out, right? Go down to the bottom of where you want to hide. Hold down Shift, and this will create a nice straight line. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful. And then just fill in the rest. Now, onto the Y. Fill in this top part. Boom, boom. Now, actually, I kind of want to do this tree too, even though it's kind of really, really far. So let's see how that looks. Let's do the bottom. Not bad. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, so now, if you're on a mask and you accidentally do a little too much, you're like, oh crap. I mean, you could do Command Z. But if you're really far along and you can't do Command Z anymore, and you end up wanting to fill that space in, go to your color and then make sure white is in the foreground, and then you could fill it back in. This is what is good about masks, that it is non-destructive to your object, meaning it doesn't do anything to the actual object, it just hides it. That's why it's called a mask, because it hides what you're doing. As opposed to the eraser, if you're gonna erase something, it pretty much, you're deleting it, right? And you don't want that, because what if, you know, you're pretty far down on the project and you want to go back and you want to have that piece that you erased? I mean, you're out of luck. You know, you kind of have to start over. This will prevent that. Like I said, it's what we call non-destructive. So if we're later down and like we decide like, oh, we want that piece back, we could just hide the layer mask, right? And then everything is there, right? We can enable it, we can disable it, but the actual object itself is unchanged, right? So what we're getting out of this is layer masks are your best friend. And this goes for Illustrator too. You can do masks in Illustrator, and I do that a lot. You can work within mask. White brings it back up, black hides it, right? And then I believe grays do kind of like, yeah, it does like a transparency, right? So the darker you go, the more it hides it. The lighter you go, the more it brings it up. But we want to be on black because we want to completely hide it behind this tree. So slightly inside, click, hold down shift, click. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. The same thing with this tree. Perfect, perfect. Now, I did a little too much right here, so hit X on the keyboard, toggle between black and white, bring white to the front, bring that part up, right there, since the tree kind of curves in a little bit. Perfect. Oh, make sure you're on black. Look at that. I'm going to do the bottom of the O. Do the W. The W. And then do the bottom part of the E and N where it connects. Now, zoom out, see how it looks. Looks quite nice if I do say so myself. And now I'm gonna add the smoke. Ba-bow. Now I'm just doing this just to add a little bit of like a foggy, you know, cold day in the forest kind of look. I'm gonna bring it to 50%. Perfect. And then to top it off, we're gonna add a photo filter. So at the bottom of your layers panel, see this circle with like, that's like half filled in, half not filled in. Go and click on that. Go to photo filter. And then I'm actually gonna do mess with the density a little bit. This is what this is to toggle like how much of that color you're using or that filter, like how much of it actually blends in, you know. So the more to the right, the more the color brings in. Left, you know, obviously the less color. And to show you, you know, what these all kind of look like. Whoa, but I want orange because, you know, Halloween. I want a little bit of an orange feel. I'm gonna go to about 60, and I think that looks good. It's almost the original forest image we used. So let's go to 30. Right there's good. I like that. And then actually I kind of want to do one more thing. I'm gonna do new layer. I'm gonna make it gradient. I just want to see how this looks. We're gonna go your gradient tool. So where the paint bucket is, if your gradient tool isn't already in, go to your paint bucket, click and hold gradient tool. Then I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna do this one, purple to orange. All right, and then I'm just gonna click and drag from the bottom, hold down shift so it's straight to the top. I want orange on top, so I'm gonna Command T, rotate it. Okay. And then making sure you're on your arrow, your move tool. And then we're gonna mess with the transparency, the blend down here. So instead of going through and clicking through each one, there's an easy way. So you can hold down shift and then do plus or minus on the keyboard, but you have to be on the move tool for this to work correctly. Because if you're not in the move tool, it's not gonna work. So making sure you're on the move tool, which is the arrows, hold down shift, plus or minus, see that? Beautiful, okay. So now we're gonna see which one looks best. I like linear light. Ooh, I like this, that's nice. So color, I like color, but I'm gonna bring it down to 50%. I'm gonna add one more gradient, and then I'm gonna do linear light. There you go. And then I'm gonna bring this down. About 30, that looks good. But I kind of don't want the letters to be affected, so I'm gonna click both of these. I'm gonna drag it below the letters. There you go. I like that. I do like that. I'm also gonna drag the smoke down some. Now I like to toggle the opacity, you know, just to see how it looks, what the original looks like, what the original doesn't, or the new looks like. See if I like it or not. I think I'm just gonna go with color. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and delete that second one. Let's see what 40 looks like. Okay. I think I just like it without the gradient, so we're gonna stick without the gradient. That looks good right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is working with masks in Photoshop. Like I said before, masks are your best friend. So if you ever feel like, oh, I want to delete this part, use a mask instead. Because if, you know, later on in the project, if you're really far in and then you decide you're like, oh man, I wish I didn't erase that part. I wish I didn't delete it. Mask, because then you could just take away the mask and it's boom, it's right there. And this applies to Illustrator too. You can do mask in Illustrator. They are your best friend. Use them. But that is it, you guys. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you guys have a nice, safe Halloween wherever you're at. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it very, very much. I'm trying to get more of these tutorials out and more consistent. So it would help me a lot if you subscribed and hit that bell button. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.